Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our podcast today. These podcasts are brought to you in part by our sponsors, who really truly are what make these podcasts possible every week. O'Fallon Nutrition is a company that I've worked with for over 15 years. They're independently owned and operated, located here in O'Fallon, Missouri, right off of Highway K and Mexico Road. I call this place the Whole Foods of St. Charles County, but even if you are not located on this side of the river, it is still worth the drive. I can remember working all the way down at Powerhouse and still sending people out to O'Fallon Nutrition for their supplements. They are more than a supplement company. You can get grass-fed beef, salad dressing, seasoning for your cooking, hair care products, makeup, deodorant, toothpaste, essential oils, and all the vitamins and minerals that you can think of. If you're looking for clean, whole food nutrition, as well as home care, house care, skincare products, O'Fallon Nutrition is your place. You can take a look at them at o'fallonnutrition.com, or if you'd like to have something shipped, if you're listening to me from outside of St. Louis, you can certainly have items shipped. I know they do free shipping if it's an order over $50, and the phone number is 636-240-5283. Again, it's o'fallonnutrition.com. As well as if preparing your food on a weekly basis is your primary excuse for why you're not able to stay on a good, clean eating program, which is something that I hear very regularly from my clients, I would ask you to please take the time to check out Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com. They are a phenomenal place. We get our food from there during the week. They deliver to our Integrity location. They will deliver to your house. They also are just available for pickup. You can go to their Chesterfield location or their Kirkwood location and just pick up meals for the day, as well as just having them delivered right to your door. So if preparing your food is your main excuse for why you cannot stay on a healthy eating program, then I would suggest just stop by Pure Plates. Just try it. If you're trying to lower your blood pressure, you're trying to lower your cholesterol, you're trying to get your blood sugar down, try to do Pure Plates meals for a week and just see how different you feel. These are organic meals. They are gluten-free. If you need them to be, they can be dairy-free. They are soy-free. You're not taking any processed sugars or meat curing agents or preservatives. They really, truly believe in nutrient-dense meals that are just whole food nutrition. And I've had my clients, or I've made recommendations for my clients for years at Pure Plates. It's pureplatesstl.com, or you can call them to ask questions at 636-778-3555. Again, remembering that they have a location in Chesterfield as well as in Kirkwood that you can just run by and pick up a meal today. Everyone always asks me where I get my meat from, and given that I really eat meat on a daily basis, typically beef primarily, my meat is very important to me. I have an autoimmune condition and I want grain-free, corn-free meat, and I just haven't found the confidence in stores in knowing that I'm getting 100% grass-fed, grass-finished beef. And I have searched and searched and searched for the right farm, and I have found the farm. It's fedfromthefarm.com, fed, F-E-D, from thefarm.com. These farmers are amazing. It's a family. They're here in Missouri, and they have the desire, just like I do, to see people well and to see people healthy, and they put a lot into what they do. It's such a wonderful family to support. They do offer 100% grass-finished, grass-fed, meaning that's it. A beef, and I get my ribeyes, I get my ground beef, my ground sirloin, I get my chuck roast. I mean, they basically have everything. They even have awesome jerky, but they also have eggs, they have chickens, and they have turkey. I'm planning on getting a turkey for Thanksgiving, and if you'd like lamb, they have that as well. But if you are in need of good quality grass-fed, grass-finished beef, or quality eggs, chicken, turkey, don't just settle for what you're getting at the local store. to go out on the internet and check out Fed from the Farm. That you can arrange a pickup or you can have it delivered to your home. And I can guarantee you're going to taste the difference. For me, my health actually depends on it. So I really thank God to have found such a great farmer. Fedfromthefarm.com. I hope it blesses you.
Welcome to Faith, Fuel, and Fitness, the Integrity Way, with your hosts, John and Debbie Morris from Integrity Training Systems.
Good afternoon, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems here in studio today. Hello, Debbie.
Hi.
Hi.
I was smiling. I almost winked at you, but I don't know why my eye wouldn't wink. Have you ever tried to just wink with just your left?
Yeah.
I can't wink with my left.
It's weird.
I got my right down.
No, you're kind of.
I have a zero wink option on the left.
You're kind of just blinking even with the right.
Yeah. I was trying to flirt with you, but I kind of looked. I looked kind of.
You look like you had something in your eye.
Like I had issues. Yeah. Sorry. But I love you.
Oh, well, love you too. Today, guys, last week we talked a little bit about going into the new year and what it takes to prepare yourself early, but don't wait till the new year starts to change the new you kind of concept. But what we want to talk about today is not buying into the lie that your best days are behind you, because your best days are actually ahead. We want to talk about how it's easy to get into a place in life where you feel like, oh, well, this is it. This is how I'm going to feel every day. I'm going to be tired. I'm going to be achy. I'm going to be in pain. I'm going to be, foggy. I'm going to have headaches. Like, it's easy to accept that this is how the rest of my life is going to be, because what you've done up to that point has culminated what you're currently dealing with. So you just think, okay, well, this is it. Like, I'm going to have to deal with this. And it's just not true.
Right. I mean, we've certainly transformed some lives, in people that, in their mid 60s, in their late 60s, in their early 70s. You had clients that came to your class in their 90s.
Yeah.
From an age perspective, there's definitely nothing that is going to say that you can't get into a better place with your health or you can't change things. But I think, what comes to my mind with that comment, which I think it's a great setup, for so many different thoughts. But what comes to my mind, and this is just simply because of recent activity, is what I keep hearing from people is, I know what to do. I have the tools. I know what to do, right? But I just have to do it, I know what to do. I know the stuff, I just have to do it, but I just haven't been able to do it. And it's like, in my thought is, you're thinking you've done so well in the past, right, that, you're going to just be able to replicate that same exact thing from the past and be able to do it for the present. But just because you know what to do doesn't mean that you don't need help doing it.
Right. Well, and not only that you don't need help doing it, but you may not be in the same place that you were the last time you did do it.
Exactly.
I watch Debbie learn every day on things that she has to do to continue to do her job as a nutrition coach. And I'm talking like she's going as far as I can hear her in the restroom, and I can hear the water running. She's washing her hands. And then over that, I'm like, is she talking to somebody? And she's not. It's actually an audio file that she's listening to, or a podcast, to still be learning. So she's always evolving. My point is, no matter what time of day it is, any extra moment she has, she's learning. So for someone to say, I already know, I just don't buy into that. You might have something that worked for you in the past, and it might work well for you again in the future, but it's not guaranteed. So having someone that can actually assist you in figuring out, okay, where I am right now, where I want to go, how I need to get there, the accountability of doing it, it's just key, because you don't actually know it all. I always tell people, the day you think you've learned all there is to learn is the day that you will actually stop learning, because growth is always there. You should always be chasing that. So when it comes to getting healthy, it's no different. You need to be looking at all of the avenues that need to be taken to be healthy. Are you older? Do you have a medical condition now that you didn't have? Has your insulin resistance changed? Are you dealing with sensitivities or allergens that you didn't have before? There's just things like that to take into account.
That's really good. What I'm thinking is, okay, let's say you have done really well on a program. Maybe you did my program for 6 months, and you just did great. You got great results. Or maybe you did Nutrisystem or Weight Watchers, or I don't even know, the new 75 hard, thing that everybody's doing. But you did something, and you did really well on it. But now all of the sudden your weight is coming up. And you're just every day starting to make a poor decision. Maybe most of your meals are good, but every day you let something slip in. You can feel your mood changing a little bit. You can feel yourself getting a little more anxious or irritable than you used to be. You're more bloated. Your pants don't fit at the end of the day. You're starting to wear more elastic waistbands than belt buckles, where before you were actually accentuating your waist with a cute belt buckle. Just things are just starting to add up, and you're telling yourself tomorrow's going to be a better day. I'm going to do it right. I'm going to get everything right. I'm going to do everything down the list like I'm supposed to. Tomorrow's going to be a better day than it was today. But in that same note, you're comparing it to what you did in the prior program to be able to determine if today ends up being a better day. Because if you didn't do it exactly the way you did it 6 months ago, a year ago, whenever you initially lost that weight, you're going to tell yourself that you're not doing it right. But there is, kind of a concept of stacking habits. And a lot of people talk about this, but there is a way that you can get back into rhythm and not necessarily feel like you have to rip the Band-Aid off to get back to it. You can start stacking habits. The first habit being, I'm not eating sugar. I'm spending the next 3 weeks not having a single dose of sugar. And then after a week, I'm not having gluten. I'm spending the next 3 weeks not having sugar and gluten. After another week, I'm not having dairy. I'm spending the next 3 weeks not having sugar, gluten, and dairy. So then it's not this situation where it's like all or nothing, have to dive right back in. Now, you may not be feeling the results that you really want to feel. The blood sugar might still be off. The blood pressure might still be a little bit off. You only lose 1 or 2 pounds versus the 15 or 20 that you've put on. But you're starting in the right direction, and you're getting yourself set up for success, and you're pulling the layers off to where if you did find the courage to reach out again and invest in yourself again to have someone else assist you or to go through another program, you actually might be very successful with that program. But I just wouldn't convince yourself that it has to be done alone, or that you have to figure out how to do it all again, because the first time you were successful because of that program, you have likely changed your gut environment, you have likely changed your brain chemistry, you have definitely changed your insulin patterns. So you probably need someone to help you get all of that back into regulation. So don't just assume you're going to be able to figure it all out. I mean, if you can, awesome. But if you're struggling and hitting your head up against the wall because each day you still continue to do something, why don't you get with someone that will help you to find grace and realize that, it's going to be okay. You're going to find a formula and a way, but you guys just have to devise that plan together.
I just also think that, sometimes people will think they remember something. They'll be like, well, I remember what it took to get there. And you remember like the gross version of what it took to get there, and not the fine skills or the fine tuning of what it took to get there. And I'll give you, for instance, I have a friend of mine who had this conversation a couple months back where they were talking about, they knew what they needed to do. They were locking it back in. They were doing Debbie's nutrition plan the way they did it the first time. The weight just wasn't coming off the same way. And I even recognized that that wasn't entirely accurate because this said person had just talked about having a Caesar salad with croutons at a restaurant. And I know for a fact that when they originally did Debbie's program, they were so in it that they made their own salad dressing, took it to the restaurants, and then used that salad dressing made from home and did not eat croutons. So it's pretty simple that you could say if I make something out of olive oil and salt and pepper versus a dressing that comes out of a bottle that's got sugar in it and then the croutons, that those fine details are probably bleeding into other things that they're forgetting that they did or that they're doing as well. So they're feeling like they're trying just as hard as they once did and not getting the same results.
Right,
so that's where it helps
good
to have someone to assist you.
That fine attention to detail is so good. You just think that, oh, well, I mean, that Caesar salad wouldn't cause me to not lose weight,
Right.
but it will.
Right, because I had a salad and it's like it's just
you're
not how it
bringing
works.
in, pro-inflammatory oils. You're bringing in sugar. You're probably bringing in gluten. You're bringing in dairy. These are all things that you were very specifically not having before, and now your body's starting to respond to it. If you don't know what to do, if you don't know where to turn, if you don't know how to get started again, just touch base with us. We can help. It's what we do. We help people find their health again. If you would like more information on a 6-month nutrition program with myself or a 6-month online master's program, you can take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com or give us a call for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers at 636-299-2208.
Welcome back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems in studio, talking about not getting away or not getting knocked off track by little things is what we want to talk about right now. We just spent the last segment talking about knowing that the back end of life is going to be better than the front end, and so we want to talk about not being distracted. We were talking a little bit about my friend who had the experience with eating croutons and eating Caesar salad versus eating a plain salad that does not have croutons and a dressing that they made from home. And when you talk about not getting derailed by the little things, I think it comes down to talking about your why. And this person's original why was very strong. It was that they needed to lose weight for their health. And that's where they're at right now as well. However, the tug at the wellness isn't as great as it was then. So when you ask them about it now, it's more about, I did so good. I lost that weight. The weight was feeling good. So now the focus is the weight. It's easier to have the Caesar salad because it's like, I might gain a half a pound or something, but I'm going to move on. But you're not weighing all of the other things that occur because of that small detail.
Yeah, one thing that I just think is somewhat fascinating, which may or may not have anything to do with this entire subject that we're discussing, so you can get me back on track after I say it, but it's just I'm just prompted by it, is we're now basically existing in a society where it is completely odd to not have the croutons and the cheese and the weird pro-inflammatory Caesar salad dressing. We're living in a society where you can say, listen, I have several social events this month. I can't be on a plan.
Right.
Because the plan for society is toxic food.
Right.
That's the acceptable plan for society, and making the exception to actually have healthy, pure, clean ingredients is sort of you're just a complete oddball, basically.
Yeah, no, I think so for sure.
And you're paying attention to details when you're trying to stay away from those bad ingredients, right? But it is just so not a common thing. You really have to fight to find folks that are that are like-minded. Okay, then that you're not going to go into that group and you're trying to order dinner, and then everybody at the table is like, what are you doing? Why are you staying away from that? You're already skinny enough. You don't need to lose any more weight.
Right.
What are you
Even though it has
doing?
nothing to do with weight.
You should be able to eat this. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and that's where you get into that you deserve it, or like, well, I mean, I know how strict you are all the time anyway, so what is one going to do to you? Just go ahead and have that. And it's so interesting. I always compare it to people. I'm like, you want to freak someone out even further than they're already freaked out with what you're trying to do. Tell them that food is your drug, and ask them if you were addicted to insert whatever hard drug you want here, would they be telling you should go ahead and still have that?
Right.
Because that's the society we live in. There are chemicals that are closely related to drugs in the food, not to mention how much rampantly food addiction has increased in the past few years. And so people are walking around being told, hey, it's okay to do the drug of your choice. I know you've been doing really good. You've basically gone to a rehabilitation center through Integrity Training Systems, but I think it's okay for you to still have this, not realizing the cascade effect that follows that. And that's the problem with little details. We talked about this last week, where when you drive a wedge into something, one of two things happens. You either have to remove the wedge, or the wedge goes deeper and the hole gets wider. And so what happens is, when you're telling your friends and family members, it's one drink, it's one bite, it's one taste, it's one piece, you're actually creating a wedge that they're going to have to work at removing.
Right. And, you know, one thing I can say is that when my father had a heart attack, and he had a pretty serious one, it put him in the basically in the hospital for 41 days, I think it was, and it was a pretty serious heart attack. And he ended up with open heart surgery. He ended up with a pacemaker. More or less the first 14 days, we basically didn't think he was going to make it. You're praying all day, all night. You're never leaving his side. You're believing God for a miracle. You're just in a position to where you're refusing to give up, and you'll do whatever it takes to help your dad to be okay. And mom will do whatever it takes to help dad be okay. Dad gets out of the hospital. He'll do whatever diet that he needs to do to be okay, right? Okay, so to avoid ever having to go through something that horrific, my dad passing out and basically no longer breathing in the middle of the gym that him and my mom were at, not ours, but the one that they were at. But to avoid doing that, you could start making some choices today. You could stop having corn oil, soybean oil, canola oil, all cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, all these bad oils. You could stop having as much sugar. You could stop having as much bread. You could stop having as much corn, all the starch that you're loading yourself up with. Today, you could do that so that you wouldn't end up in the situation basically just pacing and praying and pacing and praying, believing for a miracle to even be able to stay alive.
Well, especially when you could have prevented it. Like you're saying, I tell people this all the time. I had a heart attack, and it's like I had to lose 100 pounds. Don't let yourself require a red alert. I call them red alerts, whether it's a heart attack, becoming diabetic, becoming insulin resistant, developing an autoimmune condition. I mean, you can run down the list of things that come from just not trying to pursue your health, and I just think that it's easy to be distracted by little things. Now, depending upon what your goal is, these little things come in, you have to acknowledge what they're going to do. I have a buddy of mine, he just went to a hockey game and had some stuff that he wouldn't normally eat and drink, and he says he feels it. He doesn't feel great, and he has a little lethargy to him, and he knows he's up a pound or two from swelling, but he's not derailed by that either, because he knows he's in this thing for the long haul, and he knows what his why is, so he just gets back on. He's like, I don't have to do that again for a while. So I think the derailment goes a couple different directions. Like, try not to let those wedges happen, but when the wedges come in, pull them out before they become something catastrophic, and that catastrophe turns into a red alert, and that red alert is your overall health that you're going to get to embrace or have for the rest of your life. And at the end of the day, that's what you deserve as a human being. You deserve to feel well. You deserve to be well. You deserve to continue to walk around and watch your kids have kids. That's what you deserve, not the flavor of something that you picked up at a gas station.
Yeah, there's always something out there that you can make taste great that doesn't have all those toxic ingredients. There's always a way. That is what we do at Integrity. I'm just getting ready to release my very first online cooking tutorial. It is a course. You can purchase it. You learn how to cook, and you can pick which foods. But my first one will be soup. It'll be salad, and then I'm even going to show you how to cook a dessert. For more information on our nutrition program or our cooking tutorial, please take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com. To schedule a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, please give us a call, 636-299-2208.
Everybody, John and Debbie Morris with Integrity Training Systems in studio. Just started talking about keeping your eyes focused on the prize, making sure you don't get knocked off track by the little things. Don't let the wedges come in and create a gigantic, catastrophic, if I can speak, hole. And now I want to talk to you a little bit about dreams. I've actually got it wrote down here. If you have a dream in your heart, don't let it end at I can't. Allow yourself to dream and give your mind permission to work on how to make that dream a reality. I think that's so true, because one thing is a lot of people are walking around not dreaming anymore. People are just caught up in the wheel of life. They're caught up in the wheel or the quote-unquote grind that everybody talks about, and they're just not dreaming. And I think that dreaming is kind of what makes life worth living, looking for the next thing you're going to do. What are you going to accomplish? Who are you going to help? How are you going to glorify the Lord? Like, all of these things are what make us get through our day. And if you're finding yourself saying, I can't do that, or I just don't have the time to do that, or I'm not good enough to do that, man, I just challenge you to find a way out of that, because that is no way to spend your life thinking that you're going to go through. And I guess I'm just going to have to accept that I'm never going to be able to accomplish that. I actually just started writing. I've had something that I'm supposed to write for a while now. I've actually got a few things I'm supposed to write. We won't even get you started too much on this, Debbie, because you'll just yell at me and tell me that you already knew all of this. But I have just recently started writing something, because one of the reasons I wasn't writing it is because I was telling myself, I'm not qualified. I'm not good enough to write that. But I am writing it now, and we're going to get it wrote. So I hope that you guys do the same. If you're sitting on something that is a dream, a change, you deserve it, you owe it to yourself to live a better life, then I challenge you to chase after that.
I agree. I think that the dream is free and the hustle is sold separately. That's what's that guy's name? Steve Harvey said. That's on the outer window of my office, facing the parking lot for people to see, because we believe that. We believe that if you can sit and dream all day long, but you got to put the work behind it to really be able to make it happen. And like John said, you don't want to, just don't stop dreaming and believing that God has something bigger for you.
Did you say don't stop believing? I'm not going to sing it. I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Okay.
I was about to. I was going to break it. Don't stop. Okay, I'm singing it. Living in a lonely world.
Lonely world.
Did you take? Wow, you're actually singing. I was just going to say it.
Midnight train.
Going anywhere. Okay.
That used to be my radio show opening song.
That used to be like the song that played at every wedding ever sang, and then everybody's like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what got people pumped up for my radio show.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Right? They're like, yes,
I mean,
Debbie.
I'm not,
and then I'd be like, don't eat that.
And they're like, no.
No, the thing is that I connect the dreaming to the hope for better health. I feel like people always have this hope in their heart that their health will get better and that they'll be the size that they want to be, and they'll be able to move around the way they've always dreamed to be able to move around. But because they've made these mistakes or these choices, they don't feel like they can have that dream anymore. In fact, I meet a lot of people that say, well, I'd just be happy if I could get to 150. And I'd say, but do you feel like 150 is the most ideal weight for you? I'm just asking. I just want to know what you think the ideal weight is. Well, really 120 is probably the ideal weight for me, but I'm just saying I would be happy with 150. Is it because you don't believe you can get to 120? Well, I've just been I've worked hard. I haven't gotten anywhere, and I've gone so long being 220 that, I guess I just don't think it's possible to be 120. That's like my example of no longer dreaming, no longer trying, no longer, you've ended the possibility and you've declared defeat, basically. And so you're just stuck. And then also you're kind of settling for mediocrity, by saying, well, I'll just take the 150. I'd be happy for you that you got to 150, but we can help you get to 120.
I think there's making goals, and I think there's dreaming, and I think there's everything in between. And I think sometimes the dream is achievable and should become an end goal. But I'm going to butcher this comparison, but Roger Bannister was a runner. Was it the 4-minute mile mark that he broke? I think it was the 4-minute mile mark that he broke. It was pretty impressive because I think it was 4 minutes. You guys can Google that and either say that I'm an idiot or not. But at some point, he ran the fastest mile that there was, and that was kind of the point where at his time everybody was saying you can't actually break that minute mark. It's inhumanly possible, and there were runners that were very close and didn't break it. And once Bannister broke it, some of these runners actually turned around and within months broke that record as well. And it just goes to show the mind is actually capable of completing tasks, but if the world is telling you you can't do it, it actually takes away from your ability to dream on it, and taking away from your ability to dream on it is going to make it harder for you to accomplish it. You're just going to fall a little short because you're going to think that that's all you're capable of. And I'm talking about world records right now, but it's not just that. I'm also talking about daily life. If your friends and family and the people you're hanging out with are crushing your dreams, you might have told the wrong person about that dream. You might want to start talking to people that are going to fill you with, you should go after that. And I'm not talking about fake, false sense of security on something that you shouldn't actually be doing. I'm talking about just actually having a conversation with someone who genuinely has your back and believes in you probably more than you do, that you can accomplish what it is you're setting out to accomplish.
I think just really, trying to identify with how you are spending your time and who you are spending your time with. If your social network is what is driving you from being your best in terms of health, and they're part of your world on a weekly basis, or sometimes a couple times a week, you have to really think through, is that really what God is calling you to do? Is that what he wants for you? Is this truly the best? And if it is, if those are really truly the people that you need to spend your time around, maybe he has you in that moment so that you can shine to those people and so that you can minister health to those people. So maybe you need to straighten yourself out and get your health journey cleared up, so that when you are around this social network, you have a great time, you don't terrorize anyone, you don't judge anyone, you don't try to push anyone into it, but you just live your healthy life in front of them, and you live it in a healthy fashion, and they get to witness that. And at some point, the trickle down effect it's just contagious. People will want what you have, kind of like drugs, kind of like the bad stuff, though, over time people just want what you have. But at the end of the day, the good is just as contagious, and you will be in a position to where you will start to see the people's lives around you start to change. I have a fireman that I work with, and he's a high level. I'm not quite sure what his level is, but much higher level. And have a couple of them that I work with, and I get so frustrated when they talk to me about the food that gets brought into the firehouse. They talk to me about the challenges that they're faced with on a regular basis. Although they overcome them, they just talk to me about what's going on. Then they talk to me about the health of the fellow firemen that are on their team, that are basically having their back and going to be protecting them if they are in a fire at some point. And I tell them all the time, I will just come and just get me in front of the powers that be. I will go and I will talk to everybody.
We legitimately have a corporate wellness program. So if you're listening and you're a firefighter or a police officer or any form of first responder, go to your city, go to your municipality, go to your county, go to whoever is over top of you and ask to have us come in and do a seminar. It's something that we actually do. And I'm going to tell you right now, to talk about Debbie talking about leading by example and just living your life out in front of them. My story was that I was an overnight police officer that had a heart attack and needed to lose 100 pounds. If you're not listening before, that's what got me into this industry. But it's interesting because I eat a lot of food. And when I was losing weight, I even ate a lot of food. Like, it would blow your mind that I lost 100 pounds consuming the amount of calories in a day that I did. Everybody always thinks, oh, weight loss is starvation. It's not true. I ate so much food. I ate enough food that for a 12-hour overnight shift, I carried a full-size Blue Igloo cooler. The cooler that you would see someone take to like a barbecue with their alcohol in it and or out on like a float trip. So I had my full-size Blue Igloo cooler. And in the beginning, you know, guys would joke around. They're like, oh, what's in the cooler, Bull? That was what they called me, Bull, because I look like Bull from Night Court, and I'm pretty goofy. So they'd be like, what's in the cooler, Bull? What you got there? You know, you got your snacks, you got your meals, and everybody would joke, and it was a fun time right up until I lost 100 pounds. I started getting jacked. And then all the guys are like, no, but seriously, what's in the cooler? Like, what's the secret? What do you got in the cooler? Like, are you on steroids? Like, is there a pill in there that's going to make you lose weight? Like, we want what you got. And the reality is what I had was clean food and exercise. And so if you just learn to live your life by example and not be brought down by the things around you, because I'm telling you right now, my partners are stopping at, you know, pizza joints and burger joints and drinking Mountain Dew and soda from the gas station and consuming donuts. You know, we were getting all sorts of stuff like that. And when you can live your life by example in front of them, you can create change. I have officers' lives that have changed because of me, because of the change that I made. So live your life by example. We're not telling you to give up your friends. We're not telling you to pretend that you're better than they are. What we're telling you is don't be swayed by their information. Don't be swayed by the, oh, way of the world, you deserve that. You can have one bite. You do the swaying. Get yourself healthy, get yourself well, let them see it, and you can help them too.
Yeah, because maybe you in your life and your choices could be what could be the catalyst to a complete and just a radical change in their life, you know. And at the end of the day, that's what turned John's life around. You know, one of his friends that was super healthy ended up saying, why don't you come and meet with this person? And, you know, John decided to do it, and it turned his life around. And he has turned many lives around. You know, John's parents, his dad lost 90 pounds, his mom lost 60 within the first year of John losing his weight, you know, and there were multiple people like that. It was just a trickle down effect. So don't rule out the possibility that you could take that social network and you could actually impact them. You can still spend time with them. You can still go places with them. You just don't have to partake in every living thing that they do. You can still go and have a great time. Just stay healthy. Keep yourself on the up and up. Keep yourself feeling great. This is worth it, guys. This is what we do. We will help you to know exactly what to eat. We do a wonderful 6-month nutrition program. We will teach you how to cook. We will talk to you about exercise. We will guide you through all the different discipline and spirit, you know, to really get you guided and really keep you on track. This is how we help people change their life. For more information on any of our programs, please take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com, or for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our personal trainers, you can call us at 636-299-2208.
back, everybody. John and Debbie Morris of Integrity Training Systems in studio. If you're just joining us, we've been having a great show so far, talking about dreaming, making sure that you're continuing to shoot for your goals and not letting other people interrupt those, helping other people potentially achieve their goals just by living your life as an example in front of them. And I want to talk a little bit about circumstance. We all deal with circumstances. Sometimes we focus on the problem so much that there's actually no energy left to focus on the solution. I just think this is so true. I think that we live in a time where it's actually not only allowed but expected that people are going to complain about every little thing that's going on that they don't like. Every living detail is complainable, whether you are going to complain to your coworker or your spouse, or you're even going to text complain, or chat room complain. There's just so many outlets of complaining, but the problem is the toxicity that creates doesn't actually assist with anything. If you've got a genuine problem that needs to be taken care of and you find yourself just randomly complaining to people, most people out of compassion and empathy are going to listen to your story and side with you. It's very rare for you to have one side of a story, and if you've got someone that's empathetic at all, for them not to agree with you. That's why there's two sides to every story. That's why a judge hears both sides. That's why a law enforcement official that shows up talks to both parties, is because somewhere in between is usually the truth. However, if it's a friend or a family member or a coworker, they're going to side with you, and then you're going to get caught up in that toxicity, and you're going to waste so much energy and so much time on that problem that you're just not going to find time for a solution.
Well, I manage people all day. Of course, as a nutrition coach, I help to manage people's food, but I manage people for a living. I own a fitness center and I own a healthy bakery. So I have staff that communicate to me on a regular basis. I even have staff that work in my home. So, I'm basically surrounded by people on a regular basis. And I don't know if it's like a post-COVID thing. I don't know if I have a timeline on it, but something has shifted so dramatically. And I can't put a year or a time on it. If it's been 5 years, if it's been 3 years, I don't know, but it's a dramatic shift. And what has happened is kind of like what you said. People don't come to me with solutions much anymore. They just come to me with complaints, and that's it. And so I often have to redirect people's thinking, and I listen to their complaint and I say, but isn't it amazing that we still have the opportunity to do what we do? I'm so I'm so thankful that we still have the funds for that.
Right.
I'm so glad that we get to have the type of schedules that we get to have. Isn't it fantastic that we can organize our day on our own and have our own? So something like that. Like, I always try to figure out what can I pull out, and then when I say something like that, I can see the turnaround on someone's face where they're like, well, yeah, you're right. I don't want you to think I don't appreciate what I have. I just kind of wanted to be able to openly tell you, just how I feel. I completely understand that, but where's the gain in it? Do you feel better now that you've told me how bad everything is? Or do you feel better when we take 5 minutes talking about what we can be thankful for, or what we should be thankful for? And I think when it comes to changing your health, if you're going to say, I'm so sick and tired of not being able to eat bread, and I hate those stupid dressings that she's suggesting, and I don't want to not have my chicken fried.
Why do you have an accent?
Sure that
what is it's just gradually setting in. Your lip is literally snarling.
Wine every night, and why can't I put that creamer in my coffee? And I want dark chocolate at 2 o'clock. You've gone in and out of an accent now, and it's freaking me out. 2 o'clock chocolate every day. And it's like, that's it. That's all they can see. That's all they can see.
I just had this conversation with a client on Saturday. He's really been struggling with his food, and then he likes to drink, but he's not like a 20 beer a day drinker. He just has his 2 or 3 beers, and he does it a couple times a week, and he's trying to lose weight, trying to be healthy, trying to get his swelling and inflammation down, and it's a large reason he's staying inflamed. And he just asked me, like, John, how'd you do it? How'd you give up alcohol, and how do you stay on your food? And that's what I told him. I said, the mind is a powerful thing, and so is the tongue. The Bible talks about it. The Bible talks about the tongue being capable of building and or destroying. And if you walk around talking about how bad it is that you have to eat clean and how I'm so tired of vegetables and I'm so tired of the same proteins and I'm so tired of this and I just wish that I could have that, you know, it's okay to want for things. I mean, to a certain degree, it's okay to think I'm going to have a dessert on this day. But if you're walking around negatively on all of the other points, of course you're not going to do well. Of course you're going to struggle. You're actually giving yourself that negative energy, that negative power I just mentioned. You know, you're being destructive. And it's, wow, John, that's pretty insane to say that just because I said I hate broccoli, I'm being destructive. Well, okay, but it's not one comment. It's your daily thinking. Right. When you walk around all day and you're like, man, I hate having to do this program. I hate having to, you know, eat like this. I hate having to buy clean food. I hate. I mean, hate is such a strong word, but people throw it around now, especially when it comes to health. It's like, okay, well, how about I love feeling good. Right. I love being well.
I love not having diabetes.
Having my health back. You know, it's you go through these things.
Taking blood pressure medication.
Yeah, exactly. And at the end of the day, like, it doesn't mean, oh, well, you're telling me I have to give up dessert the rest of my life. No. But what I'm telling you is then when you do have the dessert, you have to deal with that hiccup. You have to deal with that wedge if it's something you shouldn't have, something that's not clean, and you have to pull that out to correct yourself. You know, it's just making sure that you're putting yourself in a position to be appreciative of the health that you have and what you do have going for you. Right. You know, again, I'm not saying that it's not okay every once in a while to acknowledge that there's something you'd rather be doing or something else. But I've got a client. He comes in, he sees me twice a week at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's got so many injuries and he's had so many surgeries. He was a Vietnam War veteran, and you know, he's been through a thing or two, and the guy has every right to come in every morning and say, I'm hurting, I don't feel good, I'm tired, my joints are in pain, my arthritis is flared up. And then when you ask him, hey, how you doing? He's like, excellent day, how are you? Beautiful day out there. That's how he responds. It's not sarcastic. He's forcing it to be that way.
He's my favorite.
He could be in pain. He could be hurting. His shoulder
I want him
could be,
to train me.
I know, his shoulder can be getting, he'll be like, oh, I love it. Yep, I love it. Let's move to the next thing. He's just found a way to be accepting of what he has to deal with while enjoying the fact that he can still get around. And you know what? It's allowed him to push to a level that he didn't think he'd ever be able to get to again.
He has an attitude of gratitude every day. Yes. And he really tries to focus on the good. You know, he tries to focus on, you know, what God's given him. And I think he doesn't take any of his days for granted. And I think he knows that it could be so much worse than what it is. And I think that's just all that I'm just trying to say is that, you know, life is short, and people say that all the time, but at the end of the day, it really is. We see loss a lot, and at the end, just try to see the good. Try to see the good in what you have. Try to see the good in what is possible, and try to speak it. Even when you're at your absolute lowest, just find a way to speak life into your day, to speak faith into your world, into your body. That those words can transform. If I get overwhelmed about something, or if I get in fear about something, I genuinely speak my way out of it. I just say, I'm overcome by the blood of Jesus. You know, I am protected by Jesus. I am, you know, God is my source. He is my provider. He is providing all of my needs. I will say it over and over again, no matter how dark it looks for me. I will just speak my way out of it, because I cannot spend my days focusing on everything that is terrible. But when it comes to your health, you have to get that attitude. You got to get a hold of it, and you got to say, I am thankful to feel great today, and this food is what's helping me to feel great.
If you walk around hung up on the negativity of that, you're actually giving your circumstance power over your life, and it doesn't deserve it. You should have that power. Give the glory to God and allow him to help you, and get with someone like Integrity Training Systems. If it's not us, find someone else and start hammering into your health, because there is change. And as we stated in the first segment, you deserve to live the best half of your life and the back half of your life. So get started. started.
Absolutely. And don't forget to take a look at integritytrainingsystems.com. My newest upcoming cooking course is going to be available for purchase, so you can actually be in the kitchen with me cooking. For more information on a 6-month nutrition program with us, you can take a look at us at integritytrainingsystems.com. You still have until January the 7th to get signed up for the online nutrition master's course, where we do 1 hour's worth of cooking and then 1 hour's worth of exercise instruction, as well as nutrition and discipline. Don't forget to give us a call for a free personal fitness assessment with any of our trainers at 636-299-2208. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless you. Hi, my name is Debbie. I'm a mom, nutrition coach, and my husband and I own a gym. I'm also a baker. I bake healthy cookies, brownies, and muffins that are high in protein and low in sugar. And yes, they are gluten-free and dairy-free. Our daughter Sophie is our greatest inspiration, so we decided to name all of our baked goods after her. The idea for Sophie's cookies, brownies, and muffins came out of a real need to provide our daughter with a healthy snack. These healthy snacks make her more alert, balanced, and overall more joyful. We know that our baked goods are a better way to snack, and we want everyone to experience it. If you like snacking, then you will love our baked goods. Sophie's cookies, brownies, and muffins are for all ages. We don't want anyone to miss out on the benefits of our delicious and nutritious snacks. These are going fast. Order your very own Sophie's cookies, muffins, and brownies today.